Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Boat Dealer Profits podcast, where we're here and committed to helping you sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun. I'm super excited. I've got a great guest for you today, Frank Peterson from the Recreational Boating and Fishing Foundation. And I'm so excited because as we were talking before the podcast, I think there's so many things that you're going to get out of this. So resources, information that have been out there for you, but we're going to get it in your hands so that you can use it to help do exactly what we're talking about: sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun. So let me introduce Frank real quick for you. Our guest today is Frank Peterson, the president and CEO of Recreational Boating and Fishing Foundation. Frank has an extensive and highly productive career in corporate America, including Mobil Oil's U.S. marketing and refining segments. He has started his own business, which Catalyst Communication, which eventually merged with Marketing General, where he was the VP and he led just major revenue growth for those organizations. It was also where he was introduced to the RBFF group and ultimately took over the leadership role in that organization. And today the RBFF initiative, they've developed under Peterson's leadership. They've increased and contributed to a huge increase in the fishing license sale, attracted millions of new anglers to fishing, and helped grow the percentage of adults who participate in the recreational boating industry to record numbers. We're going to talk about how fishing kind of leads people into boating. It's a gateway into the boating lifestyle, and how they're taking advantage of that to help the industry. And they're not stopping there. We're going to talk about some of the goals that Frank and his team have to continue that growth. So for those of you that don't know Frank as well as you should, and the RBFF as well as you should, Frank, one, thank you for joining us today. And two, kind of share with everybody how your organization fits into the overall industry and your goals.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt. It's a pleasure to be here today. We have one simple mission, Matt, and that is to increase the number of people who participate in fishing and boating throughout the country. And it's important that we do that because, as many of your listeners may or may not know, participation in fishing and boating leads to dollars that are generated so that state agencies can use those monies to conserve, protect, and restore the waterways we play on. Dollars are contributed by anglers and boaters to build access, boat ramps, pump out stations, clean vessel marinas, a whole variety of different programs. And it's all fueled by getting more people out on the water fishing and boating. So our vision here at RBFF is to make sure that we spread the word about the joys of fishing and boating to all ages, genders, and cultures. And we really embrace that vision as something, and our mission as something very, very important. Overall, the numbers right now in the industry are quite good. Over the last 5 years, fishing participation is up 8.2%. There's 47.2 million Americans who participated in fishing last year. And if you go back 10 years, participation in fishing is up 20%. As a matter of fact, we're at the highest level of fishing participation in this country since 1991.
Really?
And yes. And what's really, really important to understand about that is from 91 to 2006, participation was on the decline. And in 2011, every 5 years, the Fish and Wildlife Service does this study. They've been doing this participation study since 1955, every 5 years. And finally, in 2011, fishing participation increased for the first time in 20 years. And then again here, when they came out with a report that looked at participation through 2016, it was up again. So fishing, from a standpoint, while it's still a smaller percent of the overall population versus 1991, the actual number of participants are at their highest level. So from a fishing perspective, I think we're doing extremely well. It's still the second most popular sport to jogging. And you got to do a little bit more planning when you go fishing.
Yeah.
When you go out for a jog.
Lace up your shoes and put on your shorts is about all you got to do for jogging. And
that's right. And the good news is we closed that gap. We closed that gap by about 250,000 participants in the last year. So joggers, watch out. There's a fisherman in a boat right behind you.
Running to your favorite fishing hole.
That's you great. Got it.
So do you have any inclination of what has caused that increase? Obviously some of the work that you're doing, but any sense of where those extra participants are coming from?
Yeah, I think we do some annual surveys. We just completed an annual study with Discover Boating and NMMA, and what these our studies are telling us is that on the fishing side, 2.5 million new fishermen, first-time ever fishermen, came into the sport. Okay, and youth participation is up 3%, and Hispanic participation in fishing was up 11%. When you look at the boating side of the equation, almost half of the boating participants were kids under the age of 18. Excellent. And 17.1 million first-time boaters last year. Okay, now this isn't boat owners. These are people who actually go out on boats and participate as, some of them are owners, but some of them just recreate with others that have boats or jet skis, canoes, kayaks, etc. 32% of them were Hispanic. So I think we're making inroads with youth. I think we're making inroads with different demographics. And women, 45% of the new fishermen were women. Okay? So we're really diversifying our sport, which we need to do in order to be successful in the future. And we are, again, re-engaging youth. And it's so important that we get kids involved in these activities. The study we did with NMMA and Discover Boating showed that 84% of people who fish today had their first experience before the age of 12. Okay? Yep. And 94% of people who fish today had their first experience before the age of 18. The study also showed that if you haven't had your first fishing experience by the time you're 35, chances of you having one are almost non-existent. So we really need to focus on youth. And it's the same with the boating experience. We need to get youth involved. And in the past, it was, a family activity, a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a male figure would be taking these people out. But Matt, that's changed. Research that we did this year showed that more women are taking sons and daughters out fishing than men. A higher percentage of kids are learning to fish from women, moms, grandmas, you name it. Yet, only less than 20% of those women who are out there doing this actually feel like they belong in the sport. So we as an industry have to become more inviting to women. We have to become more inviting to kids. We have to become more inviting to different demographics. We worked with the Recreational Boating Leadership Council, which is made up of hundreds of organizations that want to grow boating and grow fishing, to produce a series of videos that talk about how do you engage new audiences in the marketplace. All right. Whether we like it or not, the demographics in our country are changing. The roles of men and women are changing. Women are taking on more responsibility, which is a great thing. And they're participating in these sports, and we need them to do so. So I can't stress enough the need to focus on new audiences as we grow the sport. And really, that is at the heart of our mission. The whole industry right now, and rightfully so, focuses on the existing customer base, those people that they have, and they have to. They need to make profits every day, and I totally understand that. But every successful company in the history of this country has also spent some dollars on what I call, R&D, research and development. We like to think of ourselves at RBFF and the work we do with Discover Boating as being the R&D arm for the industry. Okay, we're out there testing new ideas, reaching out to new markets, understanding what works, and then sharing all that information on takemefishing.org and our resource center. If you go to takemefishing.org, scroll down to the bottom of the home page and click on corporate, you're going to come up with a site. And we have 4 buckets there: who we are, what we do, resource center, and media center. And I would suggest all your listeners go to the resource center and check out the information we have there. We have research. We have content that your people can use. We have marketing materials that your listeners can use. We have copies of webinars and workshops we've given. We have event planning and education kits. And we have a whole toolkit on how to engage the Hispanic audience as well. So we have tried through the work we do to help industry provide insights to industry that they in turn can then use in their own marketplace to grow their brand, to grow their sales, and to grow their market share. And that's what we see our role is. So while we're engaging these folks to build awareness, interest, and trial, it then becomes the challenge to your listeners and dealers and industry and manufacturers to take these new potential participants and convert them into lifelong customers. So we try to provide the tools that help you do that.
Well, yeah, you kind of open the door to this is a possibility for you to do with your fun time, for your fun money, and get, from a young age where a dealer is looking, like you said, sell a boat today. And yet there's that, I call it a future bank. You call it the R&D, but you need to put some investment into the future bank to sell a boat, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And, if you want to be, the generational businesses that are in the industry 20, 30 years out in your community. And you guys are certainly offering a big value in that respect. And you mentioned the resource center, which I'll put that link in the show notes. So if anybody listening is, hey, I can't find that resource center, just go to the show notes on my website, and I'll link directly to it. And today with social media, having the content available for people, and you don't have to produce it yourself. Frank and his team has done an amazing job of producing amazing content for you. Talk a little bit about some of the specific content that you have out there. You mentioned webinars and videos, and I like the places to fish and boat map, that interactive map in the resource center.
Yes, and again, what we try to do is provide tools that we know our industry partners can use. Again, and it's all based on the research we do with our consumer targets. And 2 of the big areas that new participants really focus in on. Number 1, where can I go that's close to me? Okay, where can I go to take my kids? Where can I go to enjoy on a day on the water that's close to where I live? What amenities do these places have? What's available to me? That's where our Places to Boat and Fish map comes in. We have a version of that where every organization that has a business that services either fishing or boating can embed that map in their websites. It's geo-targeted, so people can find locations near them. The second question they ask is, how do I do it? And again, takemefishing.org and its Hispanic counterpart, Vamos a Pescar, provide many, many tools around the basics of how to go fishing and boating. And again, you guys, we have videos on our YouTube channel. We have a content within our site that you guys can link to from your site. So there's a variety of information that we've made available over the years. We have the #1 fishing blog in the country. We should blog about that, I guess, but and we have a great group of people who contribute to that blog. And again, if any of your listeners want to do that, feel free to contact us, because we're always looking for more local information that we can put out to the 13 million people who are visiting our website. So again, what we try to do is listen to what our industry partners say. And again, the biggest thing that they have asked us to do is continue to provide insights into tomorrow's consumer and continue to develop tools that they can then use to attract those consumers and make their brands more valuable.
Right. And for the people that are looking to grow their boat business, one of the things I teach in the Splash system is a 24/7 selling machine, which is staying in touch with your consumers all the time. And I hear over and over, well, what do I say? I don't have anything to put in my newsletter. I don't have time or the skills to write the articles. Just you can click on 3 links and get enough content to fill, a whole year's worth of newsletter articles and videos and webinar and infographics. And you guys have made the investment, much more than a dealer would be able to, and it looks amazing, and the content is rock solid. We talked before we got started that, I wish more people were accessing this information. So hopefully this conversation will trigger that.
That's exactly why we do it, Matt. We want people to use it, but we are, as much as we try, we're still one of the best kept secrets out there. So, I encourage all your listeners to go to takemefishing.org, noodle around. You see something you like, you can share it, you can use it. If you want to contribute, if you have some ideas, you can reach out to us, contact us. It's a two-way street because we're reaching a new audience. So anything your team of listeners can provide, they get full credit for, and it engages the next generation of customers. And speaking about that, I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned that dealers, they don't have the content, they don't have the time. We are embarking on a new campaign. We're actually in the second year of it. It's called 60 and 60. We want to get, when we started this concept, we had a baseline of 45 million anglers in this country. We're up to, and after the first year, we're up to a little over 47 million. And we want to get to 60 million anglers by the end of 2021. And we want to do that for a number of reasons. First of all, it means more customers for the fishing and boating industry. Okay, it means increased tackle and equipment sales. It means more licenses, more registrations, more dollars for conservation. And as I said earlier in my presentation, while the fishing participation numbers and the boating participation numbers are really strong, when you look at them as a percentage of the population, they're not as good as they could be. And getting us to 60 million anglers will get us back to a percentage of the population that we had back in 1991. So even though we have more anglers today than we had in 91, as a percent of the overall population, we're not reaching as many people. And the 60 and 60 initiative is designed to do that. It's also designed to make sure that we as an industry are out there recruiting younger, more diverse audiences and being welcoming to all people who want to participate in this program. We spend a lot of money on a national campaign, the Take Me Fishing campaign, that again is designed to build awareness, interest, and trial in a new audience of participants. And a lot of those people are going to retailers, they're going to boat dealers, they're walking into a Bass Pro Shop, walking into a Walmart, walking into a Dick's, a Cabela's, Academy, a mom and pop store somewhere out in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, because we have put in their minds that this is a great thing to do with their families. And what we have to do at all those touch points is make sure we give them a good experience. And I got to be honest with you, Matt, sometimes we don't do that. We fall short.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we really need to up our game as far as what we call R3, recruiting new people, retaining our existing customers, and reactivating those that have lapsed. It's a very simple principle. We here at RBFF believe that we're focusing on bringing new people into the sport. And once they're introduced, it's up to the retail chain that's out there across the board in fishing and boating to embrace these new customers and engage with them. Okay? Don't assume that people walking into your shop know everything they need to know. Give them the straight scoop. Give them advice. Make them feel welcome. Provide them with local information. I wish we had more local information that your listeners have, because they're sitting on a gold mine.
Oh, and they don't even realize how valuable that information is, and how much the consumer or the prospect or the 20-year boater would love. It would make their boating experience so much more enjoyable if they had that knowledge, that expertise, or that inside info almost.
Yeah, and we try to bring information on the national level, but there's nothing better than walking into that local retailer to find out what's biting, what they're biting on, where's the best place to go, where can I get a charter captain, who can guide me in this area if I don't know what I'm doing to help me do it. It is just a wealth of information and knowledge, and it's very frustrating for me being in this industry when I go to a new location and I walk into a dealer, a retailer, and none of that information is shared with me. That's a missed opportunity. And yep. I think we need to look at everybody who walks through our door as an opportunity to help them and provide them with information. Our friends at Amazon, and I'm sure some of your listeners will cringe when I use that word Amazon, but they have figured out how to do this digitally. Now, they are a multi-billion-dollar organization, but you ever buy something on Amazon and the next thing you know, there's a little tickler on your Facebook page or in your email from Amazon saying, hey, Frank, if you enjoyed this particular product, you might enjoy this. They're trying to engage. Okay, they're trying to take personal one-on-one engagement to the digital age. Well, I still believe that those of us that are out there in the brick and mortar world have an opportunity to better engage, because all of our research, human beings want to be and talk with other human beings. And I think if we can harness that innate need and also provide people with life experiences, you know what I'm saying? And understand that what we provide in fishing and boating is a life experience. It's an escape from the mundane, everyday world we live in. Side note, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to go 21 miles this morning into work. Okay.
Yes.
I would love to escape that. Okay. And so we have an opportunity as an industry to better engage with our customers. How many of our, dealers out there, maintain a robust customer list? How many are sending out information to these folks? How many are running a customer appreciation day event in the spring and in the fall? There's all sorts of things we can be doing. And really what 60 and 60 is all about is getting us to do a better job with bringing in new people and doing a better job engaging those people we have. And in some instances, bringing back some people who may have left our businesses. We do a lot of work in the reactivation field. And what we find most of the time is a lot of people don't come back to a business simply because they weren't asked to.
Yep.
Or had
absolutely.
a reason.
I'm going to take this opportunity, Frank, to throw out a quick tactic, because I love what you shared about Amazon can offer you, you bought this, you might like this. You bought this book, you might like this book. One of the advantages that us in the industry on the local level have is you've got people on that body of water experiencing the boating lifestyle, living the lifestyle that your clients want to or are aspiring to if they're not there yet. One of the tactics that several of my dealers have used is a weekly fishing report that goes in the newsletter that you guys don't have that local ability to do. But when you merge that local fishing report with, hey, here's what's biting, here's some spots that you can check out, here's some lures, and you build that relationship with that local expert, and you merge that with the national, what you guys are doing there, RBFF, in a communication strategy. Those people that walk into your dealership, you put them in, and you mentioned this as well, you put them into your, what I call a 24/7 selling machine, but your database of prospects and clients, and they get that newsletter every week. And now, Matt's Marine and Matt Selhorst is the fishing expert on this body of water or in this location. And you merge that all together, and you're going to reactivate some people that are in your database. You're going to pull the people that were at the boat show aspiring to be a boater or a fisherman or fisherwoman. And as a group, as an organization, and as an industry, we can, increase profits, but also increase the overall industry and participation. I think as a tactic, that's a real easy one to do.
Right. And I had an old boss who said, at the heart of everything, we are all salespeople. And what you're trying to do with that information is get people to realize and sell to them that you are the expert in that field on that particular location. And that is something Amazon will never, ever be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we need to take advantage. When you look at your strengths and weaknesses as an organization, one of our strengths is that local information and the engaging the local community. And those dealers that are successful do a great job in doing that. And I think sometimes, we need to get back to basics. Football, they always talk about fundamentals, blocking and tackling. Okay. The quarterback and the running back and the wide receivers may get all the hype, but if that offensive line doesn't block, nothing happens. So we need to go back to business basics. We need to make sure that everyone that comes into our particular location that we have captured information on so that we can continue to engage and communicate with them. Now, everybody's got to have a plan. You don't want to talk to a new prospect every 15 minutes, but you put together a plan that works for them and for you. And I think it all starts with data. We struggle sometimes working with our state agency partners on their inability to collect data on people through license sales, through events and stuff they do. It is absolutely critical that, we capture as much data as we can to follow up on those people who have taken the time to come visit us either online or in person, and provide them and understand what they're looking for. Ask them questions. Hey, if we get your information, here's what we're going to provide you. Is that of interest to you? Yes, no. I would be interested in this. So, you find out what your individual customers' needs are, you put that into a database, and you communicate them as best you can, almost on a personal level, because believe it or not, people do appreciate that today. Even younger folks, as much as they're embroiled or as I tethered to technology, are looking for a way to escape that. Okay. And I think our sports continue to do that. One other point I want to make on new audiences, and Boating Industry Magazine does a annual survey, and they ask a couple of questions of boat dealers, and they ask, are you more interested in reaching millennials or reaching diverse audiences? Now, it's really not the greatest question in the world because the millennial generation is the most diverse generation in our history, okay? But yet, 2 years in a row now, the people who responded to that survey said they're more interested in reaching out to millennials than they are to reaching out to minority groups or being inclusive. And what I keep trying to tell everybody in the boating industry, they are not exclusive clubs, because the millennial generation is roughly 40% non-white. Okay. And if you want to reach millennials, you're going to reach a diverse audience. So you better put that in your thought process. The other thing is today, 60% of millennial families have kids. So you do want to reach them, but again, you've also got to be sensitive that they're going to have different needs, different wants, different ways to communicate with them. And, we might have to start capturing cell phones so we can text to people. We might have to do some other types of techniques that are still fundamental, but are more in tune with where the customer wants to be today. I think going back ages, if you take care of the customer, what they want, if you understand what they want and you fulfill that, okay, with something you provide, you're going to win. And you're going to build loyalty and you're going to build success. And again, if you don't know where to start, go take a look at our resource center.
Yeah, and I'm gonna encourage everybody not only to check out the resource center, but actually like and follow on Facebook and Instagram, and that's a great opportunity just to see a very effective social media strategy on a national level in action. You know, how often are they posting? What kind of content are they posting? Read the comments, get a sense of what your potential prospects are thinking and saying, and the conversations that are going on in their head that you could potentially take down to the local level and provide the information that the national players just can't do. The one advantage that no big Amazon company, no large national entity is going to be able to out local you. But take what Frank and his group are doing on the national level and kind of just scale it back to your local level. And I think you'll be amazed at the results that come from that.
Yeah, and it's just thinking about trying to develop as many one-on-one relationships with your customers as you can, because you do have that local information is solid gold. And
absolutely.
For people, and people want that information. There's no doubt about it that they want it, and your listeners have it.
Yeah. Another thing that you mentioned was capturing information. You said it drives you crazy when at the state level they're doing an event and they don't capture the contact information of the attendees. And I think the same thing can be said at the dealership level. Even one more step local at an event, at a boat show, even somebody just walking into your parts department or walking through your front door of your dealership. That's potential future bank money that's walking in there. Yeah, they may not be ready to enter the boating lifestyle right now, but you know what? They may be ready in a year or 2 years from now. And if you capture that information, you can oftentimes accelerate their the speed at which they do make a purchase. They do enter the lifestyle. And but if you don't get their information and you don't communicate with them, they could easily get sidetracked to, go get into the RV world, or spend their money on a Disney vacation, and kind of boating and fishing goes kind of by the wayside because it's out of sight, out of mind, and that dream that was built just kind of fades away because they checked it out and they weren't able to afford it yet, or it wasn't quite the right time. That capturing of information, I think, is critical.
Right, and if you go about it the right way to ask for that information and tell them what value you're gonna provide them in exchange for that information, you'll get it. It's not walking. Sometimes you walk into a car dealer and you have a bad experience. All they want is your information, and they just want to sell you something. Okay, we've got to nurture these new people a little bit and we have to provide them with experiences. So, that's how you sell it. Well, we run, 25 events a year that we'd love you to come back to. And the only way we're going to let you know about that is if we'll send you a quick email. We won't inundate it, but we have things of value you might be interested in. We have sales, customer appreciation events for kids, food festival, you name it. You make a commitment to the customer that you provide value, they'll give you the information. And
and you almost said a script that I do in my sales training is, hey, Mr. Customer, so I can give you something of value, what is your piece of contact information that you want to capture? So it's not, hey, what's your email so I can try to sell you something. It's, hey, so I can invite you to our next event, so I can send you a consumer guide report that will help you research, what's your email address or what's your phone number. You got to do it the right way, and 90% of the time, you'll be successful. And they'll appreciate it, and they'll get value from it.
And if you'd rather get a text from me, that's fine too. Just let me know. Okay.
Right.
And because I try to communicate with my 35-year-old son, and he'll never answer the phone, but if I text him something, he'll respond.
Dad, why are you calling me?
Phone isn't for calling; it's for texting. Again, understanding who the customer is. An older customer might prefer a postcard in the mail or a phone follow-up, where a younger customer might prefer a text. So I think you got to understand who the customer is and meet them on their turf. There is no doubt about it. Yeah, excuse me. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and yet, like you said, the fundamentals don't change. The value that you're going to provide, you can provide the same value via an email, via text message, via phone call, via postcard, via website, whatever 10 years from now the communication tools and the media are going to be. But the fundamental is, what's the message? What's the value you're going to provide? The technology or the delivery mechanism is, you just got to match that up with the generation and what's available.
Yeah, and like you said, join our social media channels. If you have a Facebook page as a dealer, or an Instagram, or Pinterest, or Twitter, whatever, here's our join here, because we're going to put a lot of good information out there too. So, a variety of ways to do that. But I think the key takeaway for us is that in order for the 60 and 60 initiative to work, we have to make sure that we are providing our customers with life experiences, okay? Experiences that they will remember, okay? And I was at a conference last week where a speaker talked about that. He went around the room, he had everybody stand up, and he said, okay, how many of you guys in the room have the same haircut you had 5 years ago? And a bunch of guys, stood up, and the bottom line was, he went back like 25 years and there was still a room full of people standing. We don't remember certain things. We don't remember that we had a different haircut style. We don't like change too much, but we do remember life-changing experiences. And his point was that we are in a business that provides people with life-changing experiences, from being out in the water looking at a sunset, from catching the largest fish you ever did, to seeing the joy on your son or daughter's face when they make that first catch, spending time with your family untethered from the technology of today. These are all things that you'll remember into the future. You don't remember your best day at work, right? So, and I think we are well positioned to sell that. And the younger generation are looking for those life experiences. And we can provide that as an industry. And I think we need to focus, more on that. I know it's difficult sometimes to get people out on the water with a demo and stuff like that, but the more of that we can do, the more we are going to be able to sell the fun and excitement of these sports.
Yeah, I mean, what a great product that we sell, or experience that we sell. This summer, I've got a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old daughter, and we went to our lake house in Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, had all of the cousins on a big Mabel and pulling them around. And just, that was July. And our daughters still talk about, the fun of going with Waylon and Wyatt and Danny. And, that's what we sell. And, I think sometimes we get too focused in on the day-to-day busyness of it all and forget the big picture of, and you said it earlier, we really are changing lives. You really are making a huge impact versus the hour-and-a-half commute in traffic to, on the weekend, they know they can look forward to this time with family, this time with nature, this action or activity outside. We've got to use that to our advantage as much as possible. And you guys capture that in your resources incredibly well. So again, back to your resource tool is use those things because they're there and they're free and they're fantastic. So what else? Tell me. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say sell the experience, not the features. We were at a conference and we were talking to a Hispanic audience and we're talking about fishing rods, and a lot of the manufacturers talk about the drag and the number of ball bearings and all this happy baloney. And the one guy said to me, he says, "No, I look at this as a tool to bring my family together to go have a day of fun." You think about that. Think about that difference. A simple fishing pole, rather than sell like I said, the number of ball bearings in there and all that, which is what exactly is being sold out there. The same on the boating side. Okay, you're selling
absolutely.
features, not the experience. And I can't stress that enough, because that is what people want. But anyway, you were going to ask me a question, Matt. So.
Oh, I was just gonna ask if there was anything else, but you triggered something in my head. That my brain works like that. But the selling the lifestyle is when you're competing, selling a boat specifically. And I was a boat salesman for 5 years. Is yes, you're selling your brand against the other brand, but when the other guy's just selling feature, and you're selling feature benefit to a lifestyle, you're going to win much more often. If you're talking wake boats or fishing boats, and they're selling that they've got the best upholstery, or they've got the best electronics, and you're selling the electronics and how that's going to impact them catching more fish with their kids, because you included the lifestyle portion of it, you're going to increase tip the scales in your favor of winning that client's business. And it's so often to get caught up in feature. So, but my question was anything else about the 60 and 60 that you guys have going on, and the R3, which I think is awesome, the retention piece, or reactivation. I'm not sure what the right word is, but that's low hanging fruit. Anything else along those lines that would be helpful for the listeners to know about?
Well, again, I think we've got a lot of resources there that you can tailor to your own needs. On our reactivation campaigns, we have it both via email and via snail mail. Okay. I would really stress the fact that we did some mystery shopper research a couple of years ago, where we walked into retailers, and to suffice to say, the grades they got probably would barely pass. I think a D is still passing in the college. I don't remember. It's been a while. They barely got a little bit
worse than my plus average in college, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and simple things from prejudging people as they walk in, mm-hmm. Okay, to not even talking to them when they walked into the store. Again, that's part of prejudgment. To talking over their head, to making them feel like they didn't know anything, because they know they don't know anything. Okay,
right.
New person walks in, they just want help. So a key to me is treat every customer with respect, dignity. Don't prejudge. Matt, at one time I sold automobiles very early in my career when it was a college summer job. I knew the dealer, and he used to let me work in the parts department. And one Saturday, 2 of his salesmen called in sick. So he called me, and I didn't even own a tie and a jacket at that point. So he fixed me up with a plaid jacket, of all things, and a bright yellow tie. And I went in and I sold 6 cars, on a Saturday at this dealership. More cars than anyone had sold the whole month. And never knew nothing about it, except for the fact that I didn't prejudge any of the people who came in. I talked to everybody when it was my turn. Okay, I found out what they wanted. I didn't sell them a sports car if they've got 2 little kids and they needed the station wagon, and I explained to them why that would be better for them. And you know what? It worked. And from that point forward, I learned one important thing: you never judge a book by its cover. You never prejudge anyone. I had a fella come in. He was probably the worst smelling and worst dressed person I've ever seen in my life. He was a multi-millionaire. Okay. And he said to me afterwards, he says, I buy everything of high price like this because I want to deal with people who don't prejudge who I am.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So that to me is a big lesson. Return every phone call, talk to every customer, return every inquiry, provide people value, treat them with respect, don't prejudge. And I think we can be successful because we're entering into a whole new arena here where, again, as I go back to my original premises, our country is changing a little. Demographics are changing. The current customers are aging out. We got to replace them with newer customers that have still have that desire for that life experience, but want to be treated in a different way, want to be communicated to differently. And we've got to adjust. And I think we can do it because I think at the core, we have activities in the sport that actually does provide those life experience that people are looking for.
Absolutely.
And I think we need to focus on that. And anything that RBFF can do to help your listeners, we try to put it all out there on Take Me Fishing. We don't charge for any of it. Again, if anyone ever has any questions, they can be free to contact us, and we will get back to them with the answers they need.
Well, all of these links, the Vamos a Pescar, Take Me Fishing, the Resource Center, every link I can pull, I'm going to put those up on the show notes. So everybody listening, go check it out. I'll also put all the social media links up for everything that you guys have going on, which is a lot. Get that all up there so that people can just easily get to it. There's no excuse for not following, and there's really no excuse for not using the information. I mean, it's great content. It's well done. It is, and it's free. It's something that will definitely be beneficial. So, Frank, I really appreciate your time. Anything I didn't ask you that I should have, or anything that we didn't cover that we should have?
No, I think again, if any of your listeners want to help contribute local information, want to write a blog, want to showcase something they're going to do, want to post an event on our site, we have that all available to them. So no, I think we've covered quite a bit here. Again, I just keep takemefishing.org is your resource. Treat every customer with respect. Don't prejudge, and I think we can achieve 60 and 60, and I think we're well on our way to doing that. And I think the event thing is definitely something that is a no-brainer. Where do they email somebody? Do they have somebody in your team that goes through, or is there a special web page that? Yeah, I think I believe I haven't filled one out regularly, but I believe there's a form where you can go add an event to the site, and if anyone has any particular problem, they can send us a quick email, and we'll help them do that. We have the capability to download a bunch of events at one time or single events. And I even think I believe there's a capability for the individual organization and business to do it themselves. And then it appears in chronological order on our state page for that specific, for those specific events in that state.
Perfect. Well, I will, I'll have all that up on the show notes. Frank, I appreciate you joining us and sharing all the information and all the work that you're doing for the industry. I mean, it really is raising the whole industry. And, for us, let's start using more of it and grow it on the individual dealer level as well. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, Frank.
Well, thank you, Matt. Take care.
All right. Take care. Wow, what a great episode! I appreciate Frank joining us here and sharing all of the work that they're doing. And he mentioned it in the conversation that kind of a secret within the industry. All of the great content, all of the great resources, the ability to post your events, get that out to a broad audience, a big social media following, and using that as an advantage. All of the resources that they have. And, if you are offering any fishing products at all, whether it's saltwater, freshwater, any of those products, the resources, you really do need to check them out. Great opportunity to include them in your newsletters and in the content marketing, which, as I said, in the Splash system is the 24/7 selling machine piece of it, as well as some of the social media content that you can easily use. And, go check out the show links, and use that information. Also, if you are interested in getting further into the Splash system, making the Splash system a part of your dealership to help you sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun, there's a couple of easy things that you can do. The first is you can attend a webinar. I've got a new webinar series, how to sell more boats, make more money, and have more fun with the Splash system. That is a webinar that we're kicking off that you can participate in. Just go to boatdealerprofits.com/webinar, and you'll see all the webinars that are currently going. You can check out the Boat Dealer Profits Enhancer Scorecard, which is a scorecard that you can kind of gauge yourself. Hey, where are there opportunities for improvement to sell more boats and to make more money? It's a real simple thing to do. You just evaluate yourself honestly on, I think there's like 8 or 12 questions, and you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 9 and see where you rank and see where your focus should be. If you've been following me for a while and you want to participate in the Splash program, you say, hey, you know what? This guy, the results that he's driving, I think we could really benefit from it. And it's 100% guaranteed with my max $50,000 in additional profit guarantee, a guarantee that frankly nobody in the industry is willing to match or even come close to. But because I know the results that I've gotten for dealers over the years, and I know this stuff works, and I've got it dialed in to not only that it works, but dialed in so it's implementable, that you actually get it done and get this stuff easily to be used in your dealership once that initial work is done. You can just go to boatdealerprofits.com/apply, and you can apply for the Splash system there. Make sure it's a good fit for your dealership. If you don't have my latest book, Boat Dealer Profits, How the Splash System Can Help You Sell More Boats, Make More Money, and Have More Fun. I've got a special offer going on right now, depending on when you're listening to this, but a special offer going on at boatdealerprofitsbook.com, where you can get that book for free. Just ask that you pick up a small shipping and handling charge. So if you don't know anything about me, that book is definitely something that you should get in your hands for less than $8. It's a pretty simple investment. So thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. We will be back in a couple of weeks with another episode, and I will talk to you then. Take care, everybody.